So instead of a written blog about the different types of stringing and assembly materials that we would use in aromatherapy jewelry, because there's so many materials and findings that we use that it would get incredibly ridiculously long and boring and dry, I thought I would do a vlog for you guys. And maybe this too will get incredibly boring and ridiculous and dry, but at least you will have the pleasure of my peppy voice to guide you through it, hopefully, to the end so that you can make some informed choices in doing aromatherapy jewelry. Fun fact, just to start us out, just because the stones or materials that you're using might be glass or crystal or a less porous stone does not mean that the jewelry you make will not hold essential oils, because you can use porous stringing materials and that will do it for you. My personal preference, and this works really well because aromatherapy and malas, is using some type of a synthetic cord like a Ceylon or an Eslon. A little bit of gum arabic on the end right there, knot it up. I add a little teeny drop or two of the essential oils here and there on the knots. A Q-tip application can actually work really well to keep that a light coating, and it works well with the stones too, so that you're not getting excess oil everywhere. So even if you are using glass or crystal on something that's not going to absorb it, nylon cord is great. The oil, yes, will hurt it a little bit, but nowhere near as much as it's going to hurt our beloved silk. Yes, you can do it on silk. Just do it with care and with the knowing that adding that extra oil is going to speed up any kind of degradation that's going to happen with any organic material. Ditto cotton, waxed linen. Well, waxed linen isn't going to take the oil, the wax is going to reject it. But if you are doing a linen or any other kind of organic element, adding that extra oil is going to speed up any kind of unraveling or fraying that's going to happen. If you are doing stretchy bracelets, oils are unlikely to really hurt your true elasticity type elastic. Again, you never know what chemicals are going to react with what, but essential oil isn't going to hurt this much. If you are using more of the like old school stuff that has almost like a fabric-y covering, use with caution. The elasticity isn't going to absorb much by way of oil. You're not going to be carrying any scent, but if you've got some gemstones strung on here, the oil isn't going to hurt it. Ditto Fireline. Fireline is going to absorb a little bit of scent. It is not going to be hurt in the least by oil. I am reasonably certain I could take 2 strands of this, and if my hands could stand it, I would pull myself up a tree, and it would be fine. This stuff is incredibly durable, and it's going to take a lot more than a little bit of oil to cause a structural breach with this. So, oh, and honestly, if you're using this, you're probably bead weaving, so do be aware that glass beads and things with special finishes might react to the oils. So that's where your perma-finish and your Duracoat on your galvanized seed beads becomes an important thing to consider, as well as what kind of process has been used to dye them. Soft flex, not going to hold a scent, but it is plastic coated stainless steel wire. So any of your beading wires, they're going to be fine. Again, they're not going to hold the scent for you, but they aren't going to be damaged by you applying a little extra scent to your beads. Leather. Sure, you can do it. It's going to hold the scent. It is also going to sort of pre-distress the leather for you. And as a design element, that's not necessarily bad, but you want to know what you're getting. If you have a beautiful pale leather that's smooth and you want it to stay that way, you probably don't want to mix that with any materials that you're planning to put essential oils on. And honestly, like, wait until your lotion has dried before you put it on your wrist. Darker and lighter, it's going to show more on something that's lighter, less on something that's darker. And if you want the distressed look, it's totally fine. Again, there's that issue of adding a little extra oil might speed up the sort of natural degradation process. Well, it's pretty hardy. It'll put up with a lot of abuse. Moving on to metals. If you're working with sterling silver or things that are silver or gold plated, adding that extra oil, again, it's not going to hold the scent for you, but be aware that the oil is going to potentially affect the color of the metal, because essentially you are speeding up the patination process. And without having done exhaustive study, I would assume that different essential oils, in addition to the fact that they're oil, might affect it differently because of their own individual chemical composition. So before you do it, I would suggest testing it, whether you're using lavender or a tea tree or peppermint or some blend. Test it first just to be safe. I don't know if you're getting the background noise in the office right now, but it is a joyful day here at Dakota Stones. Moving on the metal front, if you're using base metal that's been plated, again, test first. It's not that you can't use it, just know that it's potentially going to affect a matte gold finish. It might make it more shiny, it might make the plating start to go away. That's going to vary based on the chain, who's made it, where you've gotten it, what it's made of, what the plating is, and what the oil is. So test it first, do it, just be safe. Anything that's gold or sterling silver, don't worry about it. You might, again, sort of accelerate the patination or coloration process, but you're not going to damage it. There's not going to be a structural breach because you have added some essential oil to a stone that is adjacent to your gold-filled round. Your gold-filled round will be fine. Untreated brass or copper beads. Again, you are accelerating oxidation by using the oil, and you're going to get a different reaction based on different oils. Maybe that's what you want. Maybe that's what you don't. But be mindful, test first. And also, if you are selling these designs to customers that aren't the most informed about aromatherapy jewelry, do a little bit of educating. Tell them which beads are the most porous and going to best accept the scents. Tell them if it is something where they're going to get the most smell bang for their buck by applying it to the stringing material that you've used. And also give them a little bit of education about, how do I say this nicely, not ruining your clothes. Because if you've been too aggressive in the application of the essential oil, it's not going to take fully. No matter how porous and wonderful your lava is, if you've put too much essential oil in it, it's potentially going to seep out onto your beautiful silk shirt or your new leather jacket or rub off on somebody's couch. So cautioning them to be conservative in the application process. The great thing about essential oils is that they're super powerful and super strong smelling, and a little bit goes a long way, not only in the smell factor, but also just in terms of protecting the jewelry that they're wearing. I hope that this has been informative and far more entertaining to you than me writing pages and pages of turgid text. It's been great to talk to you, and I will write to you soon or talk to you soon. Bye.